All right, indeed. You were in the dark.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten a new bulb. I keep forgetting about it because it's not really
Important.
important exactly. I only sleep in here, and when you sleep in the room, turn the lights off.
It's true.
Yeah. So why care about fixing, installing more light in a place that I'm not really gonna use light?
It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You know, this ever becomes a video podcast, I can get one of those ring lights.
There you go.
You know,
Ring
shine
light it up,
directly in my
dog.
face.
Bah. Get away from me, shadowy devils.
Right?
There's not a
So
whole...
what you been up to this week?
Nothing but work.
Nothing but work.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yep.
Pretty much the same here.
Yeah. Going back to work after a month off.
It was only 2 weeks.
Whatever. It felt like a month.
Felt like a month. It really did. 2 weeks off. Got all my PTO renewed, though.
Oh, yeah. 2 more weeks,
No.
bitch.
No.
Oh,
I've kind of worked at this company for way too long.
it's true.
31 days is what it equates out to.
Take a whole month, buddy.
So, yeah. Actually, it technically would be a little bit more than a month because obviously you don't you only use 40 hours a week. So it would be I did the math and it was like a little over 6 weeks of vacation I could technically take.
Oh, yeah.
7 weeks if you include our floating holidays.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if I decide just leave, I could just be like, peace out, man. I'll be gone for 7 weeks, almost 2 months.
See you later, bitches. Or not.
Mm-hmm. And get paid full time. Then afterwards come back and do the, what is it, the not leave of absence, but the other one that we have access to now. We've had for like a year now.
The mental health one?
Yeah, basically the mental health one where I can get paid 50% of my pay for, I think it's a month, I was told.
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was longer, but...
It could be.
But yeah. So, take like 3 months off.
Ha, ha.
Right?
But yeah, I needed this.
No, I think I'll do, I'll do better this year at, I'm going to try to do better this year at taking more time off. Well, obviously if I stay at the job, obviously I'm still looking for other positions, other places.
Yeah.
But if I happen to stay with Best Buy, take more time off, because I was thinking about it, like, obviously that's 6 weeks. That means, like, if I wait 6 months, then every month up until my PTO renews again, I could take 1 week off. So I'd be 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be a plan.
Right? Take the truck, go camping somewhere, sometimes. Yeah, it's a plan.
Yeah,
It's a plan right now.
that's all that matters.
Yeah. Who knows when, what depressions and whatnot hits, and it's just like, staying at home and staying... Well, no, I'm not as bad as some people. I get out of bed, and try and get some sunlight in the living room.
Sunlight.
Yeah.
Seems overrated to me.
Nah. It's what plants crave.
Yeah, well, I'm not a plant, so...
No?
Nope.
No.
Not as far as I know.
Could have fooled me, all that chlorophyll you have.
Chlorophyll you have, huh?
Mm-hmm. Any news that you want to talk about this week? Mine are kind of like, they're very short. Basically three short stories that I got.
Let's go. Go for it. I got nothing.
And the first one that I have is basically from the Wrap. They were talking about who was an interview with? It was an interview with who was she? Or he, Alan. Basically talking about Liam Hemsworth coming toward going to take over the role of Geralt with The Witcher. Oh, Freya Allan, and basically saying that they really actually she liked Henry Cavill, but feels sorry for Chris Helmsworth coming into the not Chris Helmsworth, Liam Helmsworth coming into the role, and how the fan base can be a bit, as she puts it. Let's see, where is it? I feel sorry for him, honestly, because number one, that fan base can be very attacky, and it's not an ideal situation to be in, taking up someone else's role, which is very true. But she says that she's excited, says that she's excited to see what he does, and he's such a lovely guy. I just hope that people give him the time of day. That was basically the crux of the interview for talking about that. There weren't really any details about where things are going from here, what's going to happen in the new season. But I kind of agree. Like I don't have Netflix right now, so I couldn't say that I'll watch the new season of The Witcher. I can't say that I'm excited to see the new season of The Witcher without Henry Cavill in it. But I know that that Liam is going to probably be torn up by people over this.
Yeah, he's going to get shit on survives.
Hard. I wish him good luck. In a different world, looking at him and trying to imagine him as Geralt, I can kind of see it. He has that maybe like where Henry Cavill is like, he's a big dude.
Yep.
Lots of muscle, and he played it pretty well. But I can see Liam Hemsworth being, at least in the video game world, Geralt wasn't this like big, muscular guy. He was much more slimmed down, very muscular, basically a physique that I could see being more nimble and acrobatic type thing. So I can see it. I can see it there. I can look at the picture and I can see where they could go and put him in there. But I just also wonder, how are they going to explain it? Is it just going to be something that they don't even touch on? Or is this going to be like Other Worlds Geralt or something like that? Something magical happens and he becomes slightly different. He gets hit with a slightly different spell.
I say that they're probably not even going to mention it. They're just going to be like, this is Geralt.
Yeah.
No one's going to be like, hey, that doesn't look like Geralt.
Yeah.
That looks like Miley Cyrus's ex-boyfriend.
It'd be so weird.
I mean, my only issue is the fact that, you are continuing the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks younger, so it just kind of throws off watching the other seasons.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for people to binge from beginning to end because, at least right now, the last season was sometime last year, and the new season won't come out for at least another year. I don't remember.
Yeah, so
Nicholas is planning an end game for the series. The streamer announced that April that The Witcher will conclude with season 5.
I just think they should have, if they were going to cast someone younger like that, they probably should have just made it a prequel, like made it before the events of Henry Cavill's run. And I know that doesn't give you a conclusion to what was already being built in the first 3 seasons with Henry Cavill, but when you cast a completely different and much younger actor, it just throws everything off. You know what I mean? Like when they had to recast Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies, they didn't give it to a 30-year-old.
No, they didn't.
So I mean, it just makes sense, you know. But like when you recast him and he's visually a younger person, like different, like physique wise, yes, but also like just generally smaller. You should probably rethink how you're telling the story.
Yeah, I agree.
It just sucks because like you should have just ended it. I know like it was doing really well for you, but this is not going to be what you think it is. Like it's not gonna draw in more people because you have a younger, newer actor.
No, and it's interesting to reread the fact that they plan on concluding at season 5, and it's like, well, you couldn't have just stuck with Henry for 2 more seasons because that was season 3 that they finished up.
Yeah.
So you're bringing in Liam to do 2 seasons, and then you're done. Like you couldn't have just dealt with it for two more seasons.
I still don't understand when they make these decisions.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that.
Okay.
The other one was I don't remember if I read it, but
Okay.
all kinds of phlegmy right now.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I was going back through this, and I don't remember if this was before or after they. I think they did an actual announcement, but there were rumors, I think, when I read this, that there was going to be a ROG Ally 2 being released in June. And now, a few days later, like last night, I was watching more stuff about an actual release of it. But yeah, it looks like we're already getting a ROG Ally 2.
Interesting.
Right? Trying to remember if it listed any specs in this article here. Yeah, no, it was mentioning in this one that in Computex 2024 coming soon, there are rumors that that we're going to get a ROG Ally 2. And then the rest of the article was about like what they hoped that that there would be included in it. Let me see if I can actually find what the... Because I thought that I saw that there was a more official announcement of it. ROG Ally 2. That's not enter. That's enter.
Is it though? What is it though?
Yeah, according to IGN, it's called the ROG Ally X. It was formally announced on Thursday.
Oh.
Will be an update to the original, featuring a black color variant and improved battery life. First reported by The Verge moments before ASUS held the next ROG Ally announcement stream, which ended up being an anticlimactic announcement for a bigger announcement coming in June 2nd. The device's battery life will be 30 to 40% increased over its predecessor. ASUS also revealed that ASUS also revealed the will be slightly heavier than the original. Someone needs to go back and redo that sentence.
Yeah, someone needs to proofread their shit before they start pumping it out,
huh? It will include the 2280 SSD slot, so it means that what they use now, I believe, was the 2230. When you're referring to that, you're actually referring to the physical size, so the actual length of it. The 2280s is your standard size M.2 SSD, so you can basically like buy this thing and then stick probably a like a 4 terabyte drive into it for some reason. Buy it for what, $500, and then go spend $500 on a new SSD throw in there. Would be hilarious. And then what else was there? The device will still use the same AMD Z1 Extreme CPU offered in the original, in addition to the same 7-inch LCD display that supports a 1080p resolution and refresh rate of 120 Hz. I'm surprised that they're releasing this thing. So, because it feels like it wasn't too long ago that they released the original one. Right?
I'm just trying to think, like, maybe 2 years?
No. It feels like it was like 6 months ago. I'm looking it up right now.
I want to say it was 2022.
June 13th, 2023.
Like I said, last June.
So I guess it's been a year. I guess time means nothing now.
It's true. Time's a construct.
God, I swear this feels like it was like announced last year and released like 6 months ago. Man, it's already been a year. So I guess a year over year release, slightly new thing. Then to that, it really doesn't. I mean, I guess it's due for an update in all. When we're talking about electronics and stuff, we especially due to Apple, we get yearly updates on products.
Well, phones.
But phones, yeah. Well, no, we also get iPads and stuff.
Not
right?
yearly.
Have they been skipping the last few years for iPads?
Yeah.
Oh. But I guess that's something else we can talk about right now, because the Apple did have their iPad event this past week as well, which I totally didn't even actually hear about coming up into it. I got home and they're like, "Oh, Apple released new iPads," and I was like, "Oh man, that's sick! I wonder if they include wireless charging and all this cool stuff." And it's like, not really. It's thinner.
Yep.
You can buy a new pencil for it.
That has gestures or some nonsense on it.
Yeah, so like this, it's just like, do we really need this? Like, unless, I don't know, like, it feels like there's no point in this, or at least, like, there's no point in sitting here going, like, we're announcing a new product. Let's have this whole show for this new product if we're just going to go, yeah, man, it's a little bit thinner, or, yeah, it has a little bit better battery life. It seems like a waste of an announcement. I don't know, it just seems to me that they could have just improved on the original one.
That's all they did. They didn't really make anything new. There's no it didn't add anything new to the to it, other than like it has an OLED display. Something about the glass has new textures to it, which will help with like touch or something. I don't know, but it wasn't. It's not like they found anything new. So like the biggest thing is the Pro has a new M4 chip, so it's supposed to be better processing, but like it's still just an iPad. It's just not, it's not. They didn't revolutionize anything. You know what I mean? They didn't come up with a new iPad. They just updated the iPad Pro and the iPad Air, because they haven't really had updates in 2 years, I think, is what it was. Maybe even, well, Pro, I think, hasn't had an update in like 3 years. But, I mean, it's, again, it didn't do much. It wasn't like the reason there was rumors of it like like an event coming up with the iPad or whatever, and then they were like, people were like, well, it's gonna be like a refresh, and I was like, well, yeah, because like unless they have a new iPad, they're gonna come out with like dual displays or some bullshit, then it doesn't really matter. And then they like the week before they sent out the thing, hey, like, guess what? We're getting ready to have an event, and it's gonna be iPad-ish stuff. And then that's all it was. Like, it wasn't anything really, like, again, they didn't come out with any new product. They just came out with refresh stuff. It's not like they said, hey, here's a new iPad that's gonna rival a MacBook Air or some shit like that. It's still an iPad.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of what I mean. Like, do we need an event to sit there and announce something that's so incremental in an update? And I guess Apple's kind of a big thing for this too. Like, I definitely feel that, at least for the past, because we're on iPhone 15 now, probably since iPhone 12, 11, something like that. Like, every announcement has always just been like, yeah, it's faster. All right, that's cool.
Because they've plateaued with everything. It's just like they just find a way to eke out a little bit newer, faster, better batteries or whatever. But like other than the OLED screens on the 15, or no, I'm sorry, the 14, right? Was the first one that had that? Was
What?
was
Oh, the
what
because
was
I know at
what was
least.
the first
Well,
one that
I
had
guess if you're
the
talking about the non-pro versions, yeah,
yeah
I think that the pro versions were always OLED, and then yeah, I think it was probably like the 13. Yeah, that they brought it to the. I don't remember. I could look it up, but yeah, you're right. They brought it to the non-pro versions. It
yeah,
was,
and then like the
yeah,
dynamic island was like the biggest thing they made to make it a little more screen used or whatever.
hmm
And then obviously like the newest thing on the 15 was the USB-C charger, but
hmm
that's basically it's just like these little things because at this point, other than making some ridiculous piece of shit dual screen phone, you're not really going to have anything new you're going to do to this until someone creates something that's gonna revolutionize, because really a dual screen or folding anything is just a gimmick at this point because they're all garbage.
yeah. They eventually break,
Yeah, and they
but that's
have
what I mean. I guess then do we need either do we need to announce this stuff every year, or maybe just hold off on features every other year? Like, stop going, especially with the iPhone. Stop doing a yearly release of new iPhones and go to an every other year. I know that that is probably would hurt Apple's bottom line for the people who always will buy the new greatest thing.
yeah.
But like with updates that are so incremental, even going back to the ROG Ally here, you know, to me, these are all just incremental upgrades. You know, could you have not just waited another year and then came out with a ROG Ally 2 that maybe has an OLED screen in it and then does all this other stuff to it, has a faster processor in it, a reason to upgrade uh, in there, or maybe wait even 3 or 4 years because, like, this right here is going to play all the games for the next 2 or 3 years, that you can play.
I mean, they're gonna be able to play those games on a handheld level,
Yeah.
more like than having to do it. I mean, with the Ally, I can see them like it's more of like, hey, we did a really good job with this first one, right? A year
Mm-hmm.
later, we're bringing out an upgraded version, that's slightly upgraded, not really like or revamped, I should say, not even upgraded, because you're not getting a newer screen, right?
No, it's the
Yeah,
same. It says the same LCD display, sports 1080p resolution,
yeah.
120
So
hertz. Yeah.
you're just getting slight upgrades, incremental, but it's more of like that's gonna more. I think that's more of like, hey, let's draw more people into it. Say, hey,
hmm
like we have a slightly better one. Maybe you were looking at the first one and we're holding off. Well, now
Yeah,
you
but
can
there's
get a slightly better one. But
yeah,
with
but to me, like, I never bought a Switch when it came out. I wasn't into Switch. I'm technically actually still not even really sold on the Switch, but I
yeah,
bought a Switch when they were like, "Hey, it's the same hardware, but now it's got an OLED screen on it."
see, they got you.
I can see the difference there. I can be like, "Ooh, those blacks, those colors, they're awesome. I love it." You know,
And that's because you didn't have one.
and that's because I didn't have one.
Yeah.
True, yes, but they got me with something that I can see. Like, all of these are all the handheld gaming systems are tempting, but the only one that would be really tempting to me is the Steam Deck OLED because I can see the difference in everything when they refreshed it. Yeah, it has all these have the same hardware. The Legion Go is the only one that I know of that hasn't had a refresh yet because the OLED version of the Steam Deck is their upgraded version, but it's the same hardware. And this will be the new ROG Ally, essentially the same hardware, but it has the same screen. Like, there's nothing I can see physically in it that gives me a reason to be like, ooh, a new version. That's awesome. It's the same as the old one.
But if you didn't have one and you were looking at one, maybe
I'd
this would
probably
be.
buy an old one because they're all going to be cheaper now. Like that. That's honest because I'm not going to upgrade. Jesus. Uh, yeah, like being able to install a full size SSD is cool. but that's not a selling point to me.
To
You
you.
know, like being able to have a better screen, but to have a better experience in that is more of a selling point to me.
Maybe that's
Than
why they call it the ROG Ally X and not the ROG Ally 2.
yeah, I guess
Because
like
they're like, hey, it's not like a new one. It's just like a slightly better one. Like they didn't want to call it a Pro because it didn't really have like advancements to it. You know what I mean? Like they weren't like,
yeah.
hey, this
But
has
that's what I'm
got a
saying too. Is
faster
like I guess
processor.
why not just wait another year and then when AMD releases, well, actually, I think AMD's already released a new version of their Zen one or their Z1 Extreme processors, but it was such an incremental. Even itself was like such an incremental upgrade that it doesn't matter at all because I think it just adds more neural cores, if I recall right, or whatever they call their AI stuff,
Yeah.
which literally, if I recall right, the specs were like 1-to-1. They're like, this is our old one, our seventh gen or 700 series or whatever it is, and then this is our 800 series, and it's like the same, except the new one has more neural cores in it.
Yeah, because they're like, hey, we couldn't really do much different, but we have this, and like this is the one. They went to like the thing where like they instead of remanufacturing the old one, they're like, hey, this one's different, but not like enough to be like. They should have probably not called it the next generation because it like if it didn't really bump the specs, then it probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah,
But you know that's how they work though.
I just think it's dumb in general. Just if you don't have significant enough upgrades, and I'm going after Apple too with this. Ooh, you put a USB-C port in there. That's awesome, actually. But does it really necessitate a whole new phone?
Well, that was because they had to. They
Phone?
did that because of the whole.
I get that
you
because
know,
the whole EU thing. They were saying that they had to move over to USB-C to be more standards compliant over in the European Union. So I do actually get that. But as just a year over year thing, selling new phones every year, it's just the upgrades have been nothing to me for a while.
well, yeah, I mean that's the complaint for everybody, and that's when the Apple haters always come out and be like, oh, you got they released a new phone that doesn't have any new changes to it or added new things that Android phones already have, and I'm like, you guys are just literally saying like the same thing we could say about Android phones, because like other than dual screen bullshit, what has an Android phone done new in the last handful of years?
Probably not a whole lot either.
Nah, it's yeah, and even the software hasn't really changed much. Apple is literally just making again incremental changes on their OS too, but that's because the OSs are so widespread and like rich in features and things that they're like trying to find new things to bring into it to make it a new like make a certain thing work better on an Apple ecosystem, but also make it so like, hey, I guess it's a good idea, but let's make it better or make it work on our stuff. Like I don't even put widgets like on my phone really for the most part, like on the actual home screens.
Yeah, I put like two, I think it is.
And like
It's the calendar and then the weather. That's
yeah,
it.
like I just like I have one screen, which is my main screen, has my apps that I use frequently, and then I swipe to the left, and that's when I get my widgets, and like that's where I want them. I don't need them on the main screen for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's like people are like, oh, they added widgets to the iOS, and I'm like, yeah, because they're trying to attract Android users more,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, hey, we know you for some reason like this, we have it now too. Come over to iPhone. That sort of weird things like that. But it's like when you think of upgrades, it's like we're at a plateau unless someone creates a new processor a mobile processor for iPads and phones, or tablets and phones, I should say, not just iPads, that can give you better performance and things like that. You're not going to see any real upgrades. And even then, that's just a processor upgrade. You're not getting a new display technology. You're not getting a new holographic fucking projector thing or something on there. It's this little things like even if they brought in a fingerprint reader through the screen for the iPhone, like the Android, like a bunch of Android phones have, it's not enough to make me think, oh, okay, that's a sizable upgrade. It's not really. It's just a new feature they added, and even then, okay, like
Yeah.
I guess
Talking like that, I was perfectly content with my iPhone 10. The only reason why I got rid of it and upgraded to the 13 is because the battery was dying on the other one. Yeah, I could replace it literally at the time. That's what part of my job was replacing those batteries. But it was just like, why put money into something where I could get a bigger screen and it'll be supported for longer than the 10. The 10 probably still has another few years being supported on it, because at least Apple's pretty decent in the past decade was supporting their iOS devices for long term. But it was just like, yeah, or I could just get a new phone.
And for you, like going from like a 10 to a 13, that's an actual
upgrade.
It's not like if you went from a 14 to a 15,
There's
all
no
you're
upgrade.
getting is a USB-C port and a slightly thinner phone, I think.
And
but like
the
micron
SOS
thin?
feature, like that's it.
Oh yeah, I mean whatever.
The satellite SOS
Yeah.
feature.
Okay. Cool.
But that's it. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
so
if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you want it. It definitely is a thing. Like I would never use it. I'm not gonna be anywhere that I need satellite coverage for SOS.
well, the funny thing is that I probably would be the type of person that would be out in the middle of nowhere that could use satellite SOS, but my brother actually owns a device that literally does that anyway.
Yeah,
you just
so.
have to pay a monthly fee and cancel the thing at any time. So you can literally just be like, yeah, just pay for a month, and then you have it for a month or whatever for satellite access. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things where like, if your job or your passion brought you out into the wilderness where that would be a feature, I could see having that as a constant thing on your phone be a thing. But like for you, like for example, like what you said, Adam has a device that you can turn on that service whenever you need to go. Like we're going camping in the Mojave Desert.
Mm-hmm.
We should have this activated for that week we're there.
Yeah.
Just in case we break a limb and we can't fucking get out of there or whatever, or fucking snap an axle on fucking the Maverick or some shit like that or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's obviously probably could use it. But like if you're an everyday person who never leaves the fucking city, having it on your phone is not enough of an upgrade unless you're I upgrade every year because it's newer and better. Then you're the problem. But
Yeah, really.
it's not that right there is a feature that like I like. To me, if I had just got a 14 and the 15 comes out with USB-C, I would be more mad than I would be like, oh, I should go get a new one, because like that is a cool feature that I dig, because everything else Apple has right now that plugs in has a USB-C on it.
Mm-hmm.
The computers, the iPads, like it makes more sense, and I think we've talked about this before. It should have been something Apple adapted when they did the iPad and the computer that way, because then all your cables will be the same.
Yeah.
Like in it, and everyone's like, "Oh, Apple does that so they can sell more accessories." No, they do that because they don't want to have to re-engineer things. Same reason their iPad, their MacBooks aren't touchscreen, because they'd have to re-engineer not just the computer but the software it runs.
Yeah, that's very true.
So like, look, I mean, Windows, right? And this has always been my argument when people say like, "Oh, why isn't the Mac OS touchscreen?" Look at all the problems Windows had when they just threw in touchscreen support to the OS without actually making changes.
They went and redesigned all of Windows with Windows 8 to be more touchscreen, blah, blah, blah.
Because they had to.
This and that. Because they absolutely had to, you're right. And
7 was almost unusable in touchscreen because the button, everything was so small and so hard to use that like you couldn't do it. So like when you went to touch it, like you're touching multiple things, you had you had to like be very precise with it, and it was unusable for the most part. Yeah, you could swipe or you could like drag things, but like touching a button, especially on a menu, if you do like a right click or like a hold click, like hitting one of those menu options was fucking infuriating. But when Windows 8 came out, when you did that, when you interacted touch style, the menu actually came up bigger. The buttons were larger so you could touch them. Where like Mac would have to redo all of it.
Yeah.
To do that. You know what I mean? Like and especially because Mac has their OS is so different with what the menus are when you're on a certain like app. Like right now I have News, FaceTime, and GarageBand open, right? But my bar at the top is set for whatever app I'm currently clicked on, which right now is News.
Yeah.
But when you go to touchscreen, you have to change all those things. But then also, I need to be able to change that because if I need to go up here and hit File, the button needs to be more precise and better for touch.
Bigger, yeah.
Because it is very small right now. It'd be like I might accidentally hit the GarageBand window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little things like that. And then obviously, like, their big thing is like, you know, or not their big thing, but one of their things for Mac OS is multiple screens. And you would even have to redo that for touch interface too if you have a computer that's touch and you have a monitor that's not touch. You know, sort of little things like that. It's like it's a whole it's not just a hey, just add the feature. No, it's not just that easy. But then again, that would be like a substantial upgrade that I don't think I would ever care because it's a laptop and you shouldn't really need touch on a laptop.
It's fun and like it has its uses. Obviously, I've owned a ton of touchscreen laptops from the original Toshiba that I had for school, the touchscreen Satellite, and the Surface Pro 3, I think it was that I had, all the way up to the Surface Pro 9 that I had for a short amount of time. So I've always had a laptop that had touchscreen in it, and it was always something that made things a little bit easier to just like touch. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's a necessary thing at all.
Yeah, so it's weird to me that when that's like a thing, like, and I get, like, I know I actually agree with what you're saying is like incremental updates don't make a new device needed. Now, a newer device that's so new, like a ROG, for example, the ROG Ally, I could see it being a thing where like like a year later we're gonna refresh this a little bit, try to bring in new people who are like on the fence or like, you know, maybe they're just getting into the handheld gaming, but like to say like it's not like, and yeah, if you look for an Ally ROG, the OG one instead of the X, you're probably going to be able to get it cheaper, but those are going to go away. So all you have is the newer version.
Yeah.
So like if you're again on the fence, yeah, I could spend a little less money and get the older version, or buy the new one and have all the new features. Now, the real question though is, are they gonna pull a fucking like, you know, Samsung and like a few months later release a ROG Ally 2, where it's like it is an upgrade where it has a better screen, a better processor, a better graphics processor, things like that. Then you're like shitting on the people who just bought that. Or I shouldn't say Samsung. I meant Microsoft, because Microsoft has done that with consoles before, where like hey, we released this new slim version of this console, and PlayStation did it too, but theirs was a little different because they're like, we introduced a Pro version, or like a new digital version that you can get a add-on fucking disc reader for it. But like one of those things where like, hey, we released this new updated version. Obviously, in 6 months later, we're like, hey, brand new one that's much better in every aspect, including all the things we slightly upgraded on the last one. We improved even more on this one. You know, that sort of thing. That would be like, maybe we should burn their buildings down type anger in me.
Right.
If I were to adopt that thing. To me, again, mobile gaming is not my forte. It's not a thing. Like, when I say mobile gaming, I'm going to play games on my phone more mobily than I am like bringing a Switch with me somewhere. Yeah. Or having a fucking Steam Deck or whatever, right? Like, I get it. It's cool, and they're definitely pushing the technology, but it's definitely not... If I was going to spend that kind of money, like, dedicated to gaming like that, I'm going to buy a console or build a computer, because that's where I'm gaming. I'm not gaming... I don't want to sit on my couch and play a game on my...
The thing is, too, is I think... Because I would like to be that type of person that has a reason to do mobile gaming, but that's we're both in a position that it wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Like if I literally, like pie in the sky, we've talked about this before, if the Phoenix was a more walkable city, or like I had a job that was downtown and I could take a tram downtown or something like that. Now I have a reason to have something like that as I'm killing time, going back and forth to work, you know, that, or I travel a lot. Let's say for some reason I would land a job that would be like, yeah, next week you're going to be in New York or something like that. So yeah, as I'm flying, it would be fun to have something like that to take along with me to play the games that I would want to play if I'm home. But neither of us are like that. So yeah, it doesn't really. It's a thing that doesn't really appeal to either of us.
Yeah, and I get it. There's people like who don't have a dedicated, like they can't have a sit down gaming, or they are more like, hey, I'm on the go all the time and like to play games, that sort of thing. Great, that's awesome for you, but it's like I don't think the market is, and obviously they're not selling millions of these like they are fucking consoles or gaming PCs. When I say millions, I should say millions, because like they're probably selling like maybe 1 million of them, but probably not.
Yeah, I actually don't know what their sales are on.
But it's more of this. It's like it's still in its infancy. When we talked about this before, like it's still one of those things where like even when a Steam Deck 2 eventually does surface, is it gonna be performance forward, or is it gonna be just slight upgrades like the ROG Ally X, where it's going to be slightly better battery? Now you can fit a full size SSD in it, or not full size, but mobile SSD. Those things that is it going to have the ability to run better, faster performance games on there in an ultra setting? Not that you'd be able to see it, obviously.
Yeah,
because like it's still on a fucking little ass screen. But if you were to plug it into a monitor, would it be able to reproduce ultra level graphics, that sort of thing? Or was it just going to be still a slightly better than like a laptop? You know what I mean? Like I would never buy a gaming laptop.
No, that would be a definitely hard no for me as well.
And that's the thing too, is like when it comes to PC gaming, and this, and we've talked about this before, there's this like, I really want to get into PC gaming again, but I just know like it's still that like every once in a while, every like more often, I'm gonna need to upgrade something on it, like a graphics card, more so than like not always. Obviously, like if I'm one of those people like
I go back and forth on that, because yeah, if you buy more entry level, if you're saying that even in the current gen stuff right now, if you buy 4050, I think is the lowest that NVIDIA goes, and the 6600 I think is what the lowest AMD goes. You're probably going to get at least 5 years out of those graphics cards there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you went like what I did, which is I had a little bit extra money at the time, and got the 7900 XT, or if you went with like a 4080, or even if you had more money, the 7900 XTX or a 4090, that's probably going to last you a good 8 to 10 years, honestly.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit about how much you put into it.
Where like with the consoles, right? Like I'm not looking to buy another fucking Xbox until whatever the next version of the Xbox is, right? I'm not gonna,
which would be another like 5 to 10 years or
yeah,
something
exactly. Then that's kind of like, that's my thing, is like I spent the bulk of the money on that, which is not like a lot of money. It's not like I spent like $1,200 on a fucking Xbox.
No, it was only like $500-$600, but you are getting a bit more bang for your buck over time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Versus like with the PC, and obviously the software is a little different, and then obviously you have some issues when it comes to software on the PC versus an Xbox. Like you don't have broken drivers that can be updated to make it not functional, or games come out
crashes when you look at a clear plastic curtain.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like it's
Stupid
weird little
Starfield.
Things. Yeah, and it's little things like that. It's like I just remember back in the day, like with PCs, like that was my biggest frustration, is like, oh hey, we have this new update that you have to put on, but all the games got it first, so you can't play any of your games until you update this. And I'm like, I hate everything about that.
Yeah.
Or you do the opposite, where like all of a sudden your graphics card gets a new update, right? But then all the games can't utilize it, so they're broken or don't perform the same. You know? And I'm like, I hate it. I hate it so much because like I'm so lazy. I just want it to work. You know what I mean? I want it to function. And for the most part, that's it's a very small thing that ever happens. It's not like it happens every week and I can't play my game that I want to play every week. But it's when it happens, it just always seemed to me it was like more inconvenient than it was anything else. You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden like, oh, I'm on my weekend. I'm gonna play whatever the fuck game I was playing at the time. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh cool, 45 minutes worth of updates. Hopefully it goes through smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, but like I can turn my Xbox on and maybe I have to wait 5 minutes for an update to go through. Well, not anymore because my new fast internet updates are real quick.
Really are.
Yeah, it's bonkers. But like, you know, it's little things like that. It's like it's first world problems, but it's like this such a small inconvenience, but it bothers me so much. And like I just don't want to like sink the money into it and then have to like really, I don't want to have to set up like all new stuff and like be in here and play games versus like sit in there and like hang out with Paige while I play games and she shows me random TikToks or what's fucking new for Taylor
Swift. It's a very different
Swift.
experience, you're right, because it's no longer couch gaming where you can just pick something up and basically play. It's literally, okay, I have to go into the room with my computer and I am shut off with my computer from the rest of the world. Yeah, I do get that.
Also, and I know this is not a big thing anymore because most games you can use control. I hate mouse and keyboard for games. It's just too much. Like there's too much. Like I know it's all the same things, but there's like way more you can do with a mouse and well, mostly keyboard. That I just want the simplicity of my dumb brain to be able to do the controls on the controller. And I know there's cool things you can fast switch weapons or you know in The Witcher you can cast a spell by hitting a fucking the 2 key or whatever it happens to be or whatever, you know, like I get it, that's convenience and it's pretty cool and awesome and the aiming is better and blah blah blah, but I'm also real lazy. Like I don't want that.
I have that question with obviously playing first person shooters on a PC for me is a lot better. So playing Cyberpunk visually and the experience wise, being able to do a bunch of stuff with a keyboard and mouse, it almost feels like you're really hacking stuff or doing stuff as you're hitting one button and doing this other stuff. But then it's like, okay, I basically finished The Witcher last week or the week before or whatever it was, the week before. It's like, okay, well, I was thinking about what game to play next, and I was thinking about playing Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor Fallen Order.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a third-person action, like hack and slash type game. How does that play? How does that? It just doesn't seem like it would feel right to play on a keyboard and mouse. Yeah. It almost feels like it'd be better for me to have a controller with it and play it that way. I haven't yet. I actually probably won't even start it. Been thinking about actually just canceling my Xbox subscription because I don't use it at all. You know?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't pay for it if you're not using it.
Exactly. So I'll probably just, I still have been meaning to just uninstall it and cancel the subscription. But yeah, to that point, it's just like, to me, it's a different game. And it feels like it'd probably play better on a controller rather than a keyboard and mouse. Even though it probably, you know, I would just get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they just added the newest one of those to Xbox, didn't they? Or to Game Pass?
Fallen Order?
Yeah.
That's been on there for a month or two.
I thought they just added it to be playable. I could be wrong, though. Oh, yeah, no, they just added it. Yeah. Jedi Survivor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just got added. I don't know if it's... is it just console, though?
No, I have it downloaded. I actively, downloaded it and installed it on the PC. And then I had to install EA crap along with it. So now every time I turn my computer on, it's like, hey, sign into your EA account. And I'm like, I have to sign in. I know there are other ways around, like, preventing it from, coming up on startup. But, like, I'd have to sign into it in order to go into the settings of it to tell it not to load on boot. Is really dumb.
This says it's not available via Game Pass on PC.
Well, I don't know what I downloaded then.
Did you download the first one?
Don't think so. To be fair, like it was a week ago, and I did just go, oh, that thing, and Star Wars download. I'd have to turn my computer on actually to tell because I don't have it linked to my. No, wait, I should be able to see it on Game Pass.
Yeah, because I switched over to the
On my
PC
iPhone.
tab and it doesn't show it as available.
I downloaded something. Is the original one then available?
I think so, yeah. Let's see.
Maybe I accidentally downloaded the original one, thinking that it was that one.
Fallen Order is, yeah, it's available on PC, but, no, it says Jedi Survivor is too. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Oh, this app is whack.
that's what I've been saying.
That's weird. Because on the front page, when you do the slider over to PC, Jedi Survivor disappears. But if you put it back on console, it shows up.
I wonder if that's because I'm looking at the PC stuff. You scroll down and you can sort by EA games, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor shows up under EA, so under PC EA games.
Weird, okay. So maybe. Oh, so then never mind. I'll take it back. That's not what I thought it was then. Okay. And I still haven't even played past the tutorial of the first one, so I'm not even like in time to play the second
The first one wasn't bad. It was fun. It had frustrating moments because it is more of a Souls-like type game.
Yeah.
But more annoying, I would say, mostly because the most annoying thing that I found with the game is, like in Souls-like games, if you clear out an area of enemies,
Oh, I remember this, yeah.
but you went to like a bonfire, the enemies would come back. In this one, though, what was super fucking annoying was I would clear out an area and then start to do the gamer, like I'm going to explore things and try and find stuff and whatnot. Then I would leave an area and come back. Like I literally remember this too because it was fucking annoying. I cleared out this open area, and then I literally stepped through a doorway that took me to the previous area and went, oh no, this takes me back to the other area. Turned around, went back through the door. Every enemy had respawned. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Hell yeah, dude.
I
That's
just
awesome.
cleared this, and all I did was take 2 steps out and 2 steps back in, and all the enemies respawned.
If I learned anything from Paul Abdul, that's
2
the
steps
problem.
forward, 2 steps back.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
something
fuck a
about
cartoon
being a
cat.
cat. I don't know. Yeah, so that was annoying. The story wasn't bad at all. Difficulty, I think I just knocked it down to a more enjoyable level because at this point in my life, I'm more about enjoying the story rather than trying to get some sort of personal enjoyment out of, just
Pulling your
filleting
hair out of your
myself
fucking...
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. That's why I would have wanted to play the sequel. Just hadn't gotten around to it. Whatever. I think I'll buy it in the future once it goes on super sale on Steam.
I mean, just Christmas time comes around, probably going to be on sale.
Yeah, I know it's on sale. It's been on sale recently for like 25% off or something like that. But even then, it's like, I'll wait till it gets to like $10 or something like that, then buy it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. The only last thing I had here, let me quit out of that and not almost quit out of the FaceTime here.
Again.
Yeah, again. Was just the wrap talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. And basically that, let me see if I can find it. bu- bu-
Yep.
that basically Ryan Reynolds had like a weird initial idea of what he wanted to do for the film, as he called it a Rashomon kind of story, which I guess is like seeing it, like doing a story from different perspectives. So in this case, he said he wanted to do it from like 3 different perspectives. No more details on that, but Evan, and I always butcher the last name, Feige.
Yeah, Feige. Yeah, Kevin Feige.
Feige was like, no, that doesn't sound right. It's not, let's not do that. And even in here, he stated as saying, the truth is, I wasn't even sure how to incorporate Deadpool yet. I was very much thinking about how to bring mutants and the X-Men into the MCU, and I thought I needed to be more than just playing the hits, as he says it. So apparently they went back and forth. Like Feige says, there was like Ryan Reynolds had like roughly 18 different ideas of what the story should be for Deadpool and Wolverine. But ultimately, it was Hugh Jackman, and there's no explanation of what it was, but ultimately it was just Hugh Jackman that was like somewhat of like how the story should be, and they were like, yeah, that's how it is. Okay, that's what we get for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Whatever it is, it's so far looks fantastic. But I like the fact that Kevin Feige at least let Ryan pitch some ideas. But if he didn't have it sounds like even Ryan admits that he probably didn't have a solid how we should do this plan. It was more of like, I have this weird idea, and then like he kicked it around a bunch and like threw it out there, and everyone's like, but how would we do this? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a quote from Ryan Reynolds in here that says, some of them almost like a Sundance film, a budget of under $10 million, sort of using the IP in a way that they previously hadn't used. And I pitched bigger movies, and I pitched things in between. So, yeah, it was literally just like trying to see, what stuck to the wall.
Threw them spaghetti nudes up against the wall and see which one stuck.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was basically it. I thought that was an interesting little factoid about the upcoming movie.
I do like that. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything else. I was looking while we were talking to you, and there's nothing really spectacular to talk about on news-wise that I could find, at least, other than just nonsense about fucking shit I don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that should be it for this week's episode.
I'd say so.
So that has been Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I have been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.
Bye.